It's the perfect time and they're the perfect age for Sesame Place. Plan your visit before little kids become big kids, before dress up turns to makeup and tag becomes hashtag. Come whirl on rides, splash down slides, and hug everyone's favorite Sesame Street friends. Get unlimited visits with a season pass for 6 payments of less than $19 a month. Limited time offer, taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. So bring the whole family to Sesame Place, the only place that makes little hearts race. Sesame Place. Go before they grow.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What's good out there, War Room family? You're once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports and the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table by myself at the moment. My brothers, Jimmy the Blueprint and B. Austin, will be with us shortly. The past week in sports has sparked much discussion and debate, and y'all can't put a ball in these issues without hearing what the generals have to say. But we got to give some shout-outs, pay some bills before we do. But before you do anything, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter, or in the Group Me, the War Room Sports Game Time app on the Group Me app platform. You can join us there on Facebook and Twitter. As usual, it's at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But during the week when we're not live on the air, be sure to check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Besides our own podcast, The War Room, you can also listen to shows such as the Broad Street Line and the Broad Street Line Express from Philly Cam Studios with Roy and Chris. Shout out to those guys. The Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil Maddock and Survive. That's for all you real hip hop heads. John Appetit, if you like to eat, with the Burtons. On the Couch with the Wilsons, if you like to watch TV and go to the movies. Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue. That's our NFL show. And our newest program, all about finance, networking, real estate, etc. By the Hood with Jimmy the Blueprint and the homie Corey Camp. Just visit warroomsports.com. Click on the WRS Podcast Network tab or go to our free mobile app. Click the network tab right on over there. The homie B. Austin is here with me. My inbound homie. So
all
B,
day, every day.
Your man R. Kelly is back in the news, man. What's with the dude, man?
Yo, it's been an interesting week, man. Couple of shout outs on my part before we get underway. Yo, shout out and salute to all of the folks that still buy R. Kelly's music and support him.
Right.
You guys are confirming
this story withstanding. It shouldn't even have come to this with people's fanhood. Like, I don't bang with dude. I haven't in a decade.
I know you haven't. But salute to them because I've seen particularly black people make all sorts of excuses for him, even comparing him to Hugh Hefner. And it's really sad to me because I'm like, Hugh Hefner does whatever it is he does with consenting adults over the age of 18 and typically over the age of 21, if I'm not mistaken, from the Playboy Mansion with the Playboy Bunnies. And even if they aren't, even if you feel as though something unscrupulous is going on, it's never been proven, never been accused. R. Kelly was on tape peeing in the mouth of a 14-year-old and marrying a 15-year-old. And has been caught with child porn. So,
and that's the thing. People are talking now.
It's indefensible.
They're talking now because the people he allegedly has living in his homes as cult members. That's how they're spinning it. Whether it's that or not, it really doesn't matter. And the fact that these women are supposedly there on their own volition and they're of age, to me, it still doesn't matter when you're making excuses from him because we know what he has done. We know what he's capable of. So anytime this man's name comes up with any kind of sex crime, and there's loopholes in this one where you, without proof, you really can't call it a crime as long as these women are saying that they're there on their own volition. But at the same time, anything sexual, in nature that might have a negative connotation to it that happens with this man, it's like I still don't understand why people feel the need to make excuses for him. Like I said, there's loopholes in this. Like
in
at
this point,
B, like there's nothing that they've said or proven that he's doing that's illegal. But you still have people's parents saying, my daughter tried to get on, they left, she's living with him, he's having sex with all these girls, he's controlling their minds and stuff like that.
Hey man, the same people defending him and defending this behavior are the same people that are making excuses and defending Bill Cosby. OJ, I hope they pick you up in a white Bronco. I know we're gonna talk about it a little later. And salute to Mike Vick, man. And I know you will get this more so than anybody else. They still pick cotton in Virginia in 2017. Mm-hmm. Like if you go to jail and you end up on a chain gang, you could be picking some cotton. Salute to Mike Vick for being from Virginia.
No doubt. All right, well, speaking of that, man, let's get right into hot topics, and I hope Jimmy reaches the studio soon because I know he wants to be a part of this conversation, man. Because Mike Vick is the hottest topic of the week, at least as far as we're concerned. But the hot topics are brought to you by Audible. Is your schedule too hectic to read as much as you want? Well, try audiobooks. Kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you got to do is visit Audible. Sign up for your free trial at audibletrial.com/WarRoomSports. In no time, you can be listening to the latest bestsellers, hands-free, stress-free, while getting other things done at the very same time. Now, B. Austin did just mention Mike Vick. Mike Vick this week for some advice that he gave to Colin Kaepernick. And advice, if that's what you want to call it, advice. He was on the show on FS1 with Cowherd and Whitlock. I believe Cowherd was absent that day, so he was actually, in the room talking with Whitlock. I believe it was Eric Davis, and I believe Doug Gottlieb was the moderator in this segment. Now, we don't have the actual sound bites. We couldn't get it to the soundboard on time before the show, but here are some of the comments that Mike Vick made in regard to. Maybe I can play it real quick. Just bear with me here. Bear with me. All right. We don't have it on the soundboard, so I got to play it another way.
We're here at John Bartram High School in Southwest Philadelphia.
All right. That's not going to work because I got other stuff playing at the same time. All right, anyway, Mike Vick. When Colin Kaepernick came up, Jason Whitlock and what he's about, he said his little spiel and then asked Mike Vick what his thought was. And Mike Vick immediately said, well, the first thing we got to do is get Colin to cut his hair. Saying if he wants to get his image right, now I'm paraphrasing, if he wants to get his image right and get back into the league, he should go clean cut. He said, why not? And the way he said it, and to see Whitlock laughing, first of all, Whitlock was surprised that he said it, but he was happily surprised because this is the kind of spiel that you hear from Jason Whitlock on a regular basis. But to see him, laughing, and Mike Vick, like, to me, the once he got his audience and he started going on what he was saying, it seems like his facial expressions were kind of smug, kind of like, okay, I got me a little audience here. They're liking what I'm saying. So I'm going to just go ahead like I'm this dude's old head and I'm telling them this is what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't understand where he was coming from with his comments. So he said, first thing we got to do is get him to cut his
or
hair.
where he was going.
Right. Like where he was going was, I don't think he knew where he was going. So before we even get into his other comments, the fact that let's talk about that for a minute, B. The fact that the first thing he went to about Colin Kaepernick getting a job in the NFL was to cut his hair, coming from Mike Vick, coming from somebody with the history and the past of Mike Vick, and coming from a black dude, period. Like, what were your thoughts when you first heard these comments?
Supremely disappointed in Michael Vick because of some of the experiences he has had engaging in battles with white supremacy as it manifests itself in the justice system. Now, understand that Michael Vick is a convicted felon and was a party to the commission of a crime, which was cruelty to animals, dogfighting, and the like. Now, the issue has never been with Michael Vick, the black community, or myself, or anyone on this show. I believe the issue has never been us saying that, Michael Vick is innocent. I think the issue with us has been certain segments of the population were so adamant about him being punished and so adamant about the severity of that punishment while turning a blind eye or keeping their mouth shut when, other things were going on with, or other human rights violations or atrocities were going on at the hands of law enforcement, the judicial branch, or even the legislature. You get really, really adamant about punishing Michael Vick for killing dogs, but you defend policemen and police officers murdering innocent or unarmed black people. That was the whole thing. I think the difference in the type of punishment. That's always been the thing. And so to hear Michael Vick, who had come up against that juggernaut, what I quickly detected was, here is a guy who has gone up against the system and has been beaten. So he has been told and seen all his life. Again, this brother comes from not the deep South, but Virginia, Tidewater area. Virginia was the capital. Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy for a reason. And so he comes from a place where he's seen what he looks like and what he represents painted in a negative light. And he's also been painted as, the rebel and your blackness. Your blackness is actually a rebellion against society. Now, we can get into a conversation as to what that means and doesn't mean at a later time. Right. But the point I'm making is he's battled this. And I think going through the prison system and even regaining the ability to make money and play ball and all of that, I think he feels like he's had to subjugate or tone down his blackness and walk in a straight line, hold his butt cheeks tight, and be less, be unassuming, be less black, less threatening, less, of a stereotypical black man in the eyes of white America in order to reach and achieve success. That's what he's faced.
Let me contact for a minute, because I think the audio on that.
I think he really does. He got Colin to do is cut his hair. Listen, I'm not up here to try to be politically correct, but even if he puts cornrows in it, I don't think he should represent himself, in a way in terms of, just the hairstyle. Just go clean cut. Why not? You're already dealing with a lot of controversy surrounding this issue. That's the fascinating thing that you say, Mike. That he needs to do is, just try to be presentable. Look, so all the social media stuff he's doing, look, we get it, we understand it. It's time for Collins to step up in a different way, and I think primarily the reason why he's not signed to a team right now is because of the last 2 seasons and not being as productive as everybody.
All right, so let's stop it right there as well. He goes on further to say that his protest basically has nothing to do with why he's not on an NFL team right now, and it's his production over the past 2 seasons. So now, myself, I can speak for BS if you'll allow me. You've never heard on this show saying that Colin Kaepernick was a. So we're not going to sit here and front right now.
He sucks.
As if it's the case. But however, if you look at the NFL rosters as they are, there are at least 60 quarterbacks that he's arguably as good as or better starters. So you can't tell me that he can at least have a backup spot or a third string spot on somebody else's. And I also understand the notion of, okay, this guy, because of the attention that he would bring, even if you're against what he did, some people just don't want that hoopla in their organization. So I understand the point. He may not be worth the that he brings. But there has to be some people in the league, because we saw a lot of anonymous GMs and execs just saying he's a traitor to his country. I hate him. He's the most hated player in the NFL and that nature. So for someone to sit here and not acknowledge the protests and the effect that it's had on his career, I think that's just crazy. For you to just say he's not good enough. I mean, in comparison to a lot of his peers who are quarterbacks in the league in some capacity, he's good enough to be in the NFL right now. So whoever thinks that that's the only reason that his protest didn't have anything to do with where he is right now, I just think those are the people who are in denial. You know what I'm saying?
30,
and for Mike Vick to say this kind of stuff and to feed into that rhetoric, that BS narrative, like I was, as you be, I was very disappointed in what I heard from him.
There are 30 or 32 teams in the NFL. I'm tripping.
32 teams in the NFL.
It's 32 teams in the NFL. That means that there's 32 starters. We're going to do some numbers because men lie, women lie, and numbers don't. There are 32 teams in the NFL, which means 32 starters. There's 32 backups. That means we have 64 quarterbacks. Now, some teams carry a third quarterback, and whether you want to say on the active roster or practice squad, let's go a step further and say that there's 96 quarterbacks in the NFL. There's 96. I will stand confidently on everything that I've ever had and say that Colin Kaepernick, believe that he sucks as a starting quarterback. He is better than at least 64 of the quarterbacks that are presently in the National Football League. Now, you can argue when you get into the starters, the top 32, where does he land?
I was say, he's probably in somewhere in there.
He's probably better.
I think our criticism of him has always been relative to the spot.
Yeah.
Like
relative to him as a starter. Relative
right.
as a starter, relative to where he falls compared to the elites in the top 10. Yeah. He's better than 64. I'd go as far as to say that he's better than at least 80 other NFL QBs. He's in the top. He's in your top 20. And maybe that's a little aggressive, but top.
But it doesn't matter.
25.
I get your point. They get our point. He should be in the NFL. And like I said, there could be a select few franchises that says, like, look, I don't have anything against what he did, but we just know that the media circus that it will bring. And I don't even know if that's the case. I don't even know if that's a cop out at this point, because when he got his spot back in San Francisco, it wasn't a straight circus. You know what I mean? They made it a point to put the camera on him every time the national anthem came on, so we can see him. They can get, Americans' blood boiling and talk about respecting the flag and disrespecting the troops and all this nonsense that people were spewing and totally, just ignoring what he was sitting for. Like, still to this day, nobody who has a problem with him talks about his cause. I'm saying, and that's a part about this. Me, I'm just so to hear Mike Vick. And the thing is, the advice that Mike Vick was giving him, whether or not he thought he was doing something honorable, he thought he was being a big brother or whatever, he's giving him image advice as if Colin Kaepernick was about to go in front of a judge for doing something illegal. Colin Kaepernick didn't do anything illegal.
You getting towed,
didn't
brother.
Even get,
getting towed.
Didn't even get in trouble in the NFL. Like, there was no trouble involved in this. This is just the court of public opinion being sensitive to something and putting something on this man that wasn't even his intent. Miss me with the whole troop. The troops have nothing to do with the flag. He didn't say anything negative about any troops or anything like that. He basically said what this song and what this flag supposedly represents. When you listen to the song in its entirety, we question it as well. But what it's supposed to, until the country starts living up to that, then he's not going to stand for that. He didn't say anything about anybody's troops or anything of that nature. But, people want to just put stuff on you because they want to be mad at what they want to be mad at.
Everything must fit their narrative. Facts and truth be damned. Empathy be damned. Compassion be gone. I mean, the reality is that Colin Kaepernick is actually a very articulate, well-thought representative of himself, his family, and more importantly, the causes that he stands for. And when I say, and this is purely my take and perspective, so I don't want to put this at the feet of, my brothers and the company War Room Sports. This is solely the opinion of B. Austin. When I say white supremacists and white supremacy, I view it as the culture, the dominant culture of the United States of America. That's not to say that everyone that subscribes to that culture is hateful or a racist or hating Kaepernick. It merely means that white folks, having been the architects by and large of the way the systems and institutions work in this country and the way things go, white supremacy supports that continuance. So anything that threatens that is outside of the bounds of white supremacy and makes people feel uncomfortable a lot of times. And that's why you're seeing folks focused on Colin Kaepernick taking a knee instead of having a dialogue and discussion about what he has taken issue with and the reason that he's taking that knee. And the sad thing is he's talking about life, human life being taken, and your concern is not for that life or not for that issue, but for the fact that he's taking a knee, which in truth is ultimately patriotic if you listen to what the founding fathers said this country was about. Rebellion against tyranny and wrong is allegedly what the United States of America is built on. So to take that stand is ultimately patriotic and very American. If you listen.
Except for the fact that they weren't talking about us.
Yeah, that's true.
Is my microphone still messing up?
You sound a little better.
All right. Yeah, I mean, except that they weren't talking about us when they made those rules, concepts. Yeah, it was just surprising to me. Not for the because Michael Vick, he's been about image control for the past decade himself because of what he went through. But I think he's putting the wrong things on Colin Kaepernick because Colin Kaepernick did not get into any legal trouble. So I don't understand why he has to be somebody that he isn't to try to get a job in the league. And another point that I'd like to bring up, Colin Kaepernick, I haven't heard of him begging for a job. I know he wants to play, but to tell him to change his image in order to do so, like, I don't hear Colin Kaepernick, riding and dying with his quest to get back into the NFL.
He's not, and in his own subtle ways, he's called to carpet the system, the not-for-profit association that is the NFL, the ownership group, because a lot of when you mentioned the general managers that were cowards and went anonymous in how they felt about Colin, a lot of that is a cascade down from the tops, from the ownerships, which, fact is, ownership is middle to older aged white males who are probably not, based on their culture and their family backgrounds and how they've been raised, they feel that what Colin Kaepernick stands for and what he did is an affront to who and what they. So, ultimately they're about the dollar. And if Colin Kaepernick was good enough, and in that top 10, then they would bite that bullet and give him a job, because ultimately it would be making them money. But because he isn't as valuable as a money generator, they're not about to give a guy a platform to allow him to, take shine and focus off of the sport itself. So,
my bad. Yeah. So Mike Vick has had some time to think about this, and he's too, because of the backlash. Or maybe somebody in his family sat him to the side and told him how he sounded and how he looked. But he came back and he's basically saying, I shouldn't have said the stuff that I said. I was wrong. Let me read you a quote. He said, "What I said, I should have never said. I think it was taken out of context, of course, in regards to what I was trying to convey, but I only want to help Colin Kaepernick. I'm not a general manager. I'm not the guy who makes the decisions on getting him signed, and I'm truly sorry for what I said. I think I should have used a better choice of words. His afro has nothing to do with him being signed, and I wasn't trying to relay that message. It was more about helping him at the end of the day." So what do you think about those comments?
I think that whoever he employs as a publicist went into crisis management mode and damage control and said, "You ignorant jigaboo, your fan base is by and large black people, and black people, while they are split, they're mostly leaning towards supporting Colin Kaepernick. You just riled up your fan base and supporters, and you look like Uncle Tom or Coon. You need to retract that and backpedal as fast as if they took that quarterback position away and put you at cornerback." So, that's all that was. We got to give some bars to Colin Kaepernick's response, or what I take as his response, which was done on IG, Instagram. He posted a definition of Stockholm Syndrome, which some of us got, and some of us probably didn't go run to the dictionary. But you want to talk a little bit about that clap back at Michael Vick?
Nah, I thought it was perfect.
Apropos.
Like he didn't have to get into any kind of back and forth. Now, one thing I do believe Mike Vick when he says, I believe that it wasn't said with malicious intent. It wasn't malicious. I really think that he may have thought that he was saying the right things, but the things that he views as the right things were just things to satisfy, the dominant culture in this country. I mean, because we know Jason Whitlock's position on things, and we know how he is. To see how happy he was that Mike Vick was saying the things that he was saying tells you everything that you need to know about what it was that he actually said. I mean, in the caption when Jason Whitlock posted it on social media, was basically saying, yeah, he kept it. Mike Vick was a great guest today. He kept it all the way 100 and wasn't trying to say things for Twitter approval. But I think Colin Kaepernick, just to keep it quiet, just put something out there for the intelligent people who get it and just leave it alone. I think it was the right thing to do. I don't think he has to get into any back and forth with anybody. He spoke, he shot. I think his shots hit where they needed to hit because we see the backpedal going on right now for Michael Vick. And Whitlock saying, he wasn't doing stuff for Twitter approval, but it seems like the Twitter backlash sure is, having him backpedal as if he played cornerback in the league instead of quarterback. So I don't know, man. Let's go to the phone line. We got the homie Tobias calling from Arizona. Let's see what he got on the matter. Tobias, what's going on, brother? You're in the war room.
Right. Hello?
Yeah.
Hey.
Tobias, I know you got to give Vic some bars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to pick him apart. Even though I'm visiting my folks in Alabama, I had to chime in, man. The problem is Kaepernick did not commit a crime. Usually you commit a crime, you go before the judge, and you cut your hair, you shave your face, you put that nice suit on, so you go on for the judge. This man did nothing wrong. He doesn't have an image problem. He fought for people who don't have a voice. And I'll say this. You hear these white people talking about, oh, man, well, he's rich. He ain't oppressed. The man never said it was about him. He says about the black people who don't have the voice or the platform to speak on these stuff that happened to them. What is so bad about that? And that's the stuff that kills me because a haircut ain't going to change nothing. The man always, because you remember now, the 49ers was going to cut him anyway. So the haircut had nothing to do with him not finding a job. They keep talking about, a special type of system. Josh McCown played with 1/3 of the NFL teams. Never even made the playoffs. He got jobs. Ryan Fitzpatrick to back up to Jameis, my team. How many jobs he had? He can't lead nobody to the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Johnny Manziel, that owner who was signed Johnny Manziel, he beat women and is a drug addict. But yet the guy who stands with black folks can't get a job.
Well, there it is. that's
ta-da.
Can I chime in on Orenthal real quick?
Yeah, say your piece about Orenthal.
Yeah, all right. Here's the problem I have. I didn't care if he walked. I didn't care if they would have kept him in, because I really thought they were going to put him on TV to say he's not getting parole because they still big mad 20 years ago. But why are black folks celebrating a black man who said he ain't black, who don't want to be black?
Because we are the most forgiving group of people, I believe, in this country. And
we take moral victories. We love moral victories.
We love moral victories, and it's not so much about Orenthal, as much as it is about sticking it to white America and seeing OJ free again. I think that's what it really is about. But if we called it what it was, it's moral victories, because OJ has no interest in supporting black America in any way.
Yeah, and that's the truth, and that's always been my issue. It's like, why are we supporting this guy? He ain't never stood up for us, and this man had the biggest voice in sports when he was in his peak. Never said anything, never spoke out for us. But yet, we want to celebrate him, and he wants to be black when the man's looking at him. And I think that's a problem with us as a people. We'll defend anyone because they're black. We can't do that because they don't have our best interest.
That's absolutely
the
case. Listen, Tobias, some of the greatest and most staunchest white supremacists are black people. They're black.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have bought into the devaluation of black life and black humanity even more so than a lot of white people who are the beneficiaries of white supremacy. We're invested into it as much, if not more so, than they are. So it never really shocks me or surprises me to see black people who are whitewashed or black people who are what I would characterize as Uncle Toms, Coons, Stevens, Uncle Ruckuses, whatever, little colloquial, cutesy, funny name you want to label it as. Like, that's not surprising because we hate ourselves based on what we've experienced, the oppression we continue to go through, and what we see and are told in the media and what we hear from inside our own cultures. So, you look at a guy like OJ, who really, in a lot of ways, is OJ is the scum of black community. But because he's able to stick it to the white man, we're willing to get behind him and celebrate him, even though he has no interest in us.
Yeah, we'll get back to OJ. We'll definitely get back to OJ. So
yeah,
what you guys say?
Like Kaepernick, I'll say this before I go. They keep saying Kaepernick, he should come out there and say he want to play football. Let us know his stance. The man said it after they, mind you, he never said I'm taking a knee, or what these people don't realize, he didn't say anything. He did it quietly. He sat down, and then one Army guy, I think it was Nate Boyer, he and Kaepernick chopped it up. Kaepernick was like, okay, I'll take a knee, which I give him, okay, no biggie. And then he had an interview for 30 minutes answering every question, answered everything, told y'all what it was about. The man wants to play football, but they want him to beg for a job. He will not give them the satisfaction of begging.
Right. No shit. I mean, I give Kaepernick a lot of props because he's standing for something and he's standing firm for something. It's not like he wants to give up his career, but he's feeling, if that's what it takes, if they're not going to give me a job, like he's not going to conform and go out and do what Mike Vick says he should do, go clean cut and shave his hair off and start standing for the anthem and all of that kind of stuff. We talk about this all the time. Like, his protest has risk. He knew what the risks were, and he still was doing what he was doing. So I appreciate that. I give him the utmost respect and the utmost props because a lot of people get a reputation for being something, but they're not really doing anything risky. Like, we know what Muhammad Ali did. We know that his protests were risky. You know what I'm saying? The guys back then were actually risking something. Colin Kaepernick actually risking something. Not taking shots at any of those guys from the former Miami Heatles, but this is a lot more than just posing on Instagram with a hoodie on. There's no risk in that whatsoever. And if you don't want to take a risk, nobody's forcing you to do that, and nobody's judging you for not. But this seems like the easy activist era we're living in because you get all sorts of props for doing things like that, just for saying something on Twitter or, posing for a picture. This man took a risk, man, and I respect it to the utmost.
Hey, can I say this before I go? I think I got other people. I'll say this before I go. The problem, if you notice, now I'm not knocking what the banana boat boys did, the ESPYs that year, or the deal with the hoodies or whatever. But see, the problem is that made white people. I understand why they did it. I'm not mad at them, but it made white people feel comfortable. Colin Kaepernick made white people feel uncomfortable. That's how you know it's right. That's how you know this stuff's working, because they made them feel comfortable. He made them feel uncomfortable. And people like Whitlock, that's all they want to do is make them feel comfortable. But people like Mike Vick, he got to understand, hey, look here, brother, they still hate you. They still hate you about 10 plus years later.
He's sitting up there on the and Tobias, thanks for your call, man. We really appreciate it.
Take it easy, brother.
We'll wrap to you next week, no doubt.
We appreciate it.
The thing that kills me the most is Mike Vick is sitting up in here, and that's what I said. Like, I don't think he said anything with malicious intent, but I did notice a smugness about him when he realized that he had an audience. He realized that they were digging what he was saying. He started flowing. You know how it is. You get, say if you're a comedian or something, and you get some chuckles off your first joke, you get comfortable, you start to flow. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he thought he had an audience, so he just kept going, kept seemingly sunning Kaepernick a little bit while giving him this sellout advice. But he was willing to keep going because he did have that audience. But the craziest part about that is now you up here entertaining and yucking it up with a dude who dragged you through the mud over your dogfighting situation and everything that he went through. Jason Whitlock took Mike Vick to the woodshed. So now you're up here yucking it up, and he's one of your best guests, and he kept it so real because why? Because he went up here and basically threw another black man under the bus. That's where we are right now, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's really a shame. But
it was sad to see. It was sad to see.
We got to move it on. I got a couple more NFL topics for you. Dave Gettleman, the GM, well now former GM of the Carolina Panthers, was fired 8 days before camp started. And a lot of former Panthers took to social media to celebrate, to rub it in his face, things like that. Do you think? What do you think of the Panthers for doing this? First of all, I mean, because they're a season removed from 15-1 and an appearance in the Super Bowl, and they fired an architect behind that team 8 days before the season starts for crazy reasons. What are your thoughts on that before I keep you in mind?
They're a season removed from 15-1 and the Super Bowl, but they're a million miles away, brother. A million miles away. This just speaks to a poisonous culture that's within not just the locker room but the building at Panther Park, wherever their practice facility is or wherever, because it speaks to instability. It speaks to, a lack of honor and respect between management and players. It speaks to the resentment players harbor towards him, and it speaks to a lack of appreciation for the job that he did to put them in a position, to help put them in a position. Of course, they had to, the lion's share of the responsibility because they had to go play and execute, but he helped put them in a position to compete and allow Cameron Newton to get on that stage and show his cowardice when faced with Von Miller in his grill.
And B, it was a very distinct reason why he was able to put them in that position. When you compare him to the former GM, who they're hiring back in the meantime until maybe they find something permanent, it's all about personal feelings and quote-unquote loyalty. You know who doesn't like Dave Gettleman? Veterans on that team didn't like Dave Gettleman.
Because
former Panthers didn't like Dave because he would send them packing when they still thought that they were productive, but he knew that their age wasn't really commensurate with the money that they were demanding. And everything he was doing was working because the guy that they had there before him, who's back now, was the same one who gave D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart a bunch of money, made Charles Johnson, the defensive end, the highest paid player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Dave Gettleman came in, busted up all of that sentimental stuff because they were doing what Jerry Jones used to do. Like, I'm going to pay players for what they've done, not for what I think they can still do or what they might do in the future. Dave Gettleman came in like, okay, let's stop with all the sentimental stuff. D'Angelo, you're gone. Steve Smith, you're gone. And as much as Steve Smith gave this man the business on social media when he was let go, after he was let go, and especially now that he's gotten fired, they went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl the year after they got rid of your ass. So you can't say
I'm a huge,
and they did that without Kelvin Benjamin being
I'm
healthy.
a huge Steve Smith fan as a player, but when you have to get objective and really try and put yourself in the shoes of executives and general managers to really understand the game and how it all fits together. I would want Gettleman as my GM in a heartbeat, man. Like, what he did to me was amazing because a lot of the guys that he found and put in position, he had some blue chippers like, Luke Karaoke and Kaylon Short and all that, but then he found like Josh Norman. Like, who finds Josh Norman? And
right.
you know, he put
and he even let him step.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never, the player should never be bigger than organization, and I hate to say it because, you know, the evil empire up in New England, they have it figured out.
Right.
They have it figured out versus, you know, these guys are, as you say, they're sentimental and they're not really looking at the big picture. And therefore, you know, in closing, because I definitely want more of your thoughts. In closing, I question the people who are taking shots at him. I question their professionalism.
Right.
I question their professionalism.
I mean, that's just bitterness. Because you can't really feel justified at this point because, like I said, especially like a guy like Steve Smith, like they showed marked improvement after you left. I'm not saying he was the problem and the reason he wasn't, but you don't have the satisfaction of the team falling to like just straight terribleness after you left. So you don't have the satisfaction to say, get rid of me and you become terrible. They got rid of you and they became the best Panther team they've ever become.
They were so, like, his personality was so big and so strong that, first of all, he became Cam's old head. So it's like right. Cam probably felt subconsciously even, I got to get my old head the ball. And Steve Smith is going to show up for you. I mean, he's going to give more than his all. But that only leads the individual. That only
they thought he was bad for Cam Newton.
Because Cam is not that
not a strong-minded dude.
Yeah, he's not that he's not a IQ dude. So he's forcing the ball and developing bad habits when in his position he's got to work to develop that IQ and spread the ball around as much as possible. I think having less than dominant receivers actually help as opposed to creating a crutch, where he's going to force the ball to. And by the way, get Kelvin Benjamin out of there. He's overrated. But
he's overweight too.
Overweighted.
So this is what I hear B was the last straw. Thomas Davis, linebacker. He's a hero there. He's a fan favorite. Not only is he a fan favorite, he's an owner's favorite. He's friends with the owner, Jerry Richardson, and the way that Gettleman was handling his contract with him being an older player who's often injured, but his hero prowess comes from playing through injuries that the normal player couldn't play through. So he's become a fan favorite. He's become a favorite and friend of the owner. We know all about that living in the Washington, D.C. area all these years, how Dan Snyder liked to befriend some of his players. Shout out to Clinton Portis. If he's your friend, why is that man broke right now? But that's another story. That's another story altogether. But that was the final straw, I believe. The way he was treating the owner's friend and the fan favorite and Thomas Davis, they just wanted something different at the time. But I think this kind of move will bite you in the butt because you're going to bring back the guy who was just rewarding players for lifetime achievement, and that's just not how you run a successful organization. So we'll see where this goes, but I think Dave Gettleman will have a job somewhere in the NFL sooner rather than later. What else is happening? Let's talk franchise tag because the deadline passed for guys on the tag to actually sign long-term deals. So that means the notable players like Kirk Cousins and Le'Veon Bell will be playing this particular season on a franchise tag. Now, this is the second such tag for Kirk Cousins. He played for $19+ million last year. He's going to play for $24 million this year. And if he happens to be tagged again next year, he'll be playing for $34+ million. Now, you've been around the Washington professional football team as long as I've been around them, so you know the ins and outs. You know what's going on. Why is it that this team can't fully commit to Kirk Cousins as if they've had other options, as if they have other options, or if they're sure that they will have other options. I don't understand. He may be underwhelming in the eyes of some, but he set franchise records over the past 2 years. I'll give you the fact that, this is the new NFL, so you have to temper some of those numbers. All numbers aren't as eye-popping as they seem. I will give anybody who wants to argue that. But at the same time, this is an organization who's had tons of quarterbacks over the past 2 decades and hasn't found anything stable or half decent yet. They finally found one and they don't want to commit to him. What are your thoughts on this whole, we're going to keep franchising? And he only wins in the end because you want to keep doing that. He's going to get more guaranteed money through franchise tags than he would in a long-term contract anyway.
I've been very vocal on this topic because I feel slightly different than you do in this. I feel like this is one example where everybody wins. I feel like everybody wins in this one. The Washington professional football team have been notorious in their mismanagement and misuse of players and personnel. Like we can go back even prior, probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years prior to what they did, the fiasco that was Robert Griffin, and the draft picks that they picked up that set them back 5 seasons. But even before that, they have been horrendous since, I'd say, probably 99 with player personnel. So the reason that I think everybody wins in this is Kirk has great numbers, very good command of the offense. He can move the ball up and down the field. But as a starter, and some of this isn't on him and some of it is, as a starter, he's got a losing record, and he has no playoff wins. And most importantly,
he has no defense.
Against the top teams, against top competition, he tends to disappear a little bit. Now, you brought out a great point. Kirk Cousins, I look at Kirk Cousins, he's the type of guy where if that team had a ton of talent, you could plug him in and you could win games and be a serious contender. But Kirk Cousins
that's simply what I believe about him.
Yeah,
that's what I believe.
But I know. But he's also not. He does not possess the talent or the ability to carry that team, when it's lacking talent.
Dude, that's funny because we have not talked about this in a long time since all of this stuff happened, and you're using exact words that I was about to say to you. I agree fully with what you just said about he's not a carrier.
Let me finish. So I feel personally, if I had to extend a long-term deal to Kirk Cousins, it would be between $14 and $17 million a year. That's what I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna extend you a 5-year deal.
Though, B. Nobody's gonna give him that. They can't. Not even nobody will. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of people with writing figures on their piece of paper, and they would probably agree with exactly what you're saying, but they cannot do that. His numbers don't.
I get that. One season he passed for 4,700 yards, 24 TDs, 11 interceptions, 67% completion, and then the next season he went for 4,900 yards, more than 4,900 yards, 25 TDs, 12 picks, 69% completion, and a 96% passer rating, and that's back-to-back. That's in back-to-back years. So what I believe, and this is not, we don't have any insiders
money in
on
today's
this one,
NFL,
folks.
man.
What I believe he wants is $28 million a year over 5 years with more than $60 million guaranteed. That's what I believe, which would be setting the market. All right, that would be setting, and people use Joe Flacco as the example because Joe Flacco is Joe Mediocre, but he also happened to Super Bowl, so he had that leverage to set the market when he said it. And what the organizations are saying is, when Kirk Cousins comes to town, we're not scared of him. We're not game planning for him. Yo, I can't pay this dude more money than God, which is Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers literally plays by himself. Like, he literally goes out and wins games. He has a wide receiver at running back. He's got a big athletic receiver that does not know how to play football, and he's got Jordy Nelson, who he doesn't really have because Jordy's hurt, and Randall Cobb isn't the starter.
Sometimey.
Yeah, so that's what he plays with, and a mediocre defense, and he wins. So it's like people are saying that's a guy that carries a team, and he makes 22. We're not paying Kirk 20, 28, but like you said, that is the market. The market.
That's what I'm saying. It's just right place, right time. Because a lot of that just depends on when you're getting your contract versus when Aaron Rodgers got it.
Here's the win. Here's the win-win. Kirk will be able to get. He's gotten 20. He's getting 24, and he'll be able to get 34. So at the end of the day, he could end up making $78 million guaranteed, all off franchise tags. But the reason that I'd say it's a win-win is if someone else that they did feel was a team carrier became available, they're not tied to Kirk. If there's somebody in the draft that they believe in, they're not tied to Kirk. So when you're not tied to someone, I don't mind spending a little bit more money.
How many times have they failed in the draft?
No. Now we getting that's our personal feelings on them, and yeah, of course.
But I'm dead ass. How many times have they failed in the draft? No, I'm just being realistic. Like, how many times have they failed in the draft versus now you have something stable? Not only stable, like people, nobody wants to believe in the guy, and I think here in town, I think it's still personal. People still don't like who he replaced. I'm sorry, they don't like him for who he replaced. So right, so it's like some people in this town, you're never ever going to get their respect.
The black people
you're never ever going to get their respect.
Their black quarterback.
But listen, you're never going to get their respect. But when you think it's just them, obviously there's something to it because the organization is doing the same thing. Even though they're ending up paying him a S-load of money because, you know, they want to keep putting them under these franchise tags. But I'm not banking on the draft. Like, and maybe you can sign them to a shorter deal because that's the closest thing the NFL players are going to get to guaranteed money anyway if you do shorter deals. We talked about that with the whole contract thing lately. But I'm just not banking on the draft when I finally found somebody who could be stable. He might not be he's not, but we don't call him elite. You know what I'm saying? He's not a carrier. He's definitely not a team carrier. But if you do what you have to do around him, then I think this dude could be successful. I'm glad that they are doing this. You know, this is my analyst cap, but when I put on my fan cap, the fact that I root for a team in that same division, I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing. I'm glad that they don't trust him because, some of his best games where he did show potential to do things late game and stuff like that has been against my very team, my team. But I think it's blow another one, win. Let him walk, get a rookie who ends up being a bust, and we're right back at square one. I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, and you know what? That is the potential of this because they have snafu'd and fewbarred so many drafts. Again, going back to '99, like they're going on 20 years of f-ups. Just like, you know, their futility is similar to the Cowboys. But
and don't forget, B, they just got rid of the GM that they were all excited about. Scott McLuhan is gone. So it's the same dysfunction.
Bruce Allen's drunk behind his back, drunk ass his back, running the show. But I still feel like this is a win-win because there's certain things. When I hear offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, of course, they're speaking anonymously. But when they say, look, Kirk Cousins just doesn't have it, he doesn't scare us, I believe them. And so I would think that this team is saying either A, we're going to go after something in free agency, or B, we're looking at something in the draft.
People can go anonymously or go on TV or go to their mama's house and screaming from the porch. they can say what they want, but the dude threw for 4,900 yards, so he's giving the business to somebody. Now, the fact that the win-loss record is only around, 8 wins here, 9 wins there, are we going to put that on him as if their defense isn't a turnstile? You know what I'm saying? So people can go say whatever they want, but you just know that you're going to be able to trade bars with Kirk Cousins because their defense is not going to hold up. I haven't seen their offense move up and down the field like that in years.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if that's what people believe, that's what y'all believe.
Well, that's another.
I'm glad
it's
that way. I want everybody
issue.
to be down on the dude, especially the organization.
That's another. That's another issue that are right.
I'm concerned about him. I'm not going to say I fear him, but I'm concerned about him.
They mess up player personnel so much that they haven't surrounded him with talent, and the chances of them finding a quote-unquote team carrier is slim to none. So if you're not investing in the guys around him because you don't believe in him, you don't believe he's going to be there that long, then that puts you in a negative position too, because their defense, is truck
back them dudes. Well, real quick before we move on to some other topics, Le'Veon Bell, who quite arguably could be the best all-around running back in the league, he's going to play on a franchise tender this year of $12.1 million. Now, he was actually offered a deal from the Pittsburgh Steelers that he turned down. I believe that contract would have averaged him like $13.5 million per season. But what he said, he doesn't think that reflects the state of the top portion of the running back market. So since he is considered the best, or at least one of the best, he says he didn't want to take a contract that he thought was lowball, and he didn't want to set the market for running backs. So according to him and what he's saying, he's looking out for other running backs. But we know how running backs are being devalued in today's game. So it's hard, even when you're the best, to expect much more these days because people are always running back by committees. Even if you're dominant with the ball like Bell, there's always somebody else that's going to get some carries in a game. There's always somebody that's going to get a series. When back in the day they didn't do that. Even if you got spelled by your backup, it was just until you stopped breathing hard. Now they plan this out. Like the backup is in for this series, not this play. If we get down to the 2-yard line, we're not going to bring you in just because you are who you are. This is his series, and teams feel comfortable doing that these days. So the running back position has definitely been devalued a lot, but he seems to be wanting to stand strong for himself and for his running back brethren. Do you think the situation is going to get any better for him next year? I mean, because you know how the franchise tag works. If they end up franchising him again, then it's going to have to go up 20% from this year. So if he was getting, I don't know the guarantees in the contract that they offered him, he still might be making around the same that he would have had he taken that contract with the guaranteed money.
In his circumstance, I think that he's an idiot because his age is a factor. You don't get paid as a NFL running back past the age of 30 unless you are like the original man. And even the original man probably isn't going to get paid what he's looking to get paid. So, like, all these guys are looking at a number, Dev, of $18 million. So that's what I think Adrian Peterson's last year of his contract was, and he got cut by the Vikings because they didn't want to pay him the 18. I think Le'Veon is angling for $18 million a season.
Yeah. And I mean, he's still young. I mean,
he is.
Running back,
he's
25.
But he gets injured and he smokes heavy. And smoking marijuana is legal in Denver, but not in the NFL. So it's kind of like they look at the number of games that he usually misses in a season, and they look at his dependability. I don't think he has a shot at getting anywhere near the number he's looking for. So if I was his agent, I would have said, look, we're going to go to the table. We're going to fight $15 million a season, and we're going to be happy, and you're going to take care of your family.
He's played
16
million games one time in his 4-year career.
Yeah, and he's only getting older, so I think he's tripping. And there's more of a chance of him getting injured. So that franchise, I could see him being in a position where, let's say he plays this through and they franchise him again next year. If he misses games this year and or next year, it's going to be his last in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's not going to want to pay him 20% up on the franchise tag every year. They're going to be like,
well, he had off-season surgery, groin surgery. So
right.
He's probably still not 100%.
I think he's playing. I think he's playing with fire. He's playing with fire. He's going to talk.
We'll see. He got to go out there and prove himself. He's what they, the cliche is, he's betting on himself. So we're going to see if it was a good bet or not.
Vegas Jones.
Real quick before we move on, just wanted to give a quick stat of the week, and it is a baseball stat. Even though the off season is going on for all of these other sports, and those off seasons are a little more exciting than baseball in season right now. Most of the stats are going to come from baseball because they're out there playing every day and making things happen. So Nolan Arenado, for the Colorado Rockies, he went 5 for 6 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs in an 18-4 win over the Padres earlier this week. But the impressive, his numbers are impressive in themselves, but the reason this is the stat of the week is because his home runs came in consecutive innings. So he hit a home run in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings of this game. Like I said, 7 RBIs is always crazy in a game. Now, just to bring some perspective to this, the only other active player to hit a home run in 3 consecutive innings in a game is Manny Machado, who did it in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings against the White Sox in 2016. But the only other player in Rockies history to do it was Andres Galarraga, who did it in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings against the San Diego Padres way in June of 1995. So shout out to Nolan for this feat. It's quite impressive. It just shows you, like, during a game, this dude went on a serious hot streak and was just putting stuff outside of the field of play, 3 consecutive innings. So shout out to him for that stat of the week. So real quick, guys, before we move on to some grind topics, some birthdays, and some NBA stuff, check out our website, warroomsports.com. While you're there, make sure you take your time, look around, click on the Contact Us tab, send us a message about our company, the show, to inquire about sponsorship, advertising opportunities, joining the network, or any business you might have at War Room Sports. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. That's small baller brand stuff. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to follow us on all social media platforms, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android or iOS to get everything I just mentioned on the go. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you don't have to. You can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts, because we know you got those. And while you're at it, make sure you click follow. That'll get you updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room, and the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app during the show. So to call in and speak with us, you can dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And definitely shout out to the homie Skyview, who, as usual, as always, is holding down that chat room. When we were talking about the Kirk Cousins thing, he said, how do these QBs get these major contracts that ain't one jack? Because it's not about winning. Like with these quarterbacks, man, it is really more about numbers than it is about winning, because they're figuring, which is the truth, football is the consummate team sport. So there are a lot of quarterbacks out there who do win a lot, And we give them probably more props than they're supposed to get because it takes so many moving parts, so many cogs to win in football. Like, I think we disrespect the game by just giving all the credit to one person. But, if you're posting great numbers, they'll pay you in the NFL usually, with the exception of Kirk Cousins, because they figure, okay, if he can post these numbers, if we can just put some stuff around him, we could be good. We could be a contender. I think that's where they've dropped the ball so far. They finally found something stable at quarterback, and they don't even trust it, even if he shows you improvement, market improvement every year.
They don't know how to get that talent around him.
Yeah, that's obviously an issue. So real quick, man, let's talk about what happened this week while you good people were on the grind. And On the Grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including that NFL Sunday ticket, which will be the hottest commodity in sports in a matter of 2 months or less, go to DirecTV.com, order yourself a better TV experience. If you call yourself a sports fan, then you got to have DirecTV. Zeke Elliott, back in the news. So Ezekiel Elliott, star running back for America's team, a.k.a. Earth's team, the Dallas Cowboys. He was allegedly involved in an altercation late night Sunday in a Dallas bar. He was never arrested. The situation was being investigated, and now the latest to come out yesterday is that the investigation is being suspended due to uncooperative witnesses. No witnesses will say anything, and the actual victim is keeping quiet as well. So this seems like something, if Zeke indeed was a part of this seems like something that he's going to skate, but it's out there. It's like what I always think in a jury be like when you're in court and you say something damning to the evidence of the defendant, and the lawyer, because of some loophole, asked the judge to strike that from the record, and for whatever reason the judge does that, it doesn't get struck from – it gets struck from the court record, but they heard it. You know what I'm saying? The jury heard it. And this is just another thing that the court of public opinion has heard about Ezekiel Elliott, who's already, in some hot water about a domestic abuse charge back in 2016. He was also, the one, remember he exposed the woman's breast at the parade in Dallas last year. So it's like Ezekiel Elliott, we've talked about this before. It just seems like there's immaturity that he's yet to get over.
Entitlement and privilege.
Right, and we can give him that as an excuse, but he is a grown man. You do have a lot on the line. You are the face of a franchise now, so if you don't grow up pretty soon, this stuff is going to start getting more serious. And I think if he's enabled, because we know the Cowboys over the past decade or so has been an enabling type organization.
An enabling
until
culture.
They finally got Des Bryant, a glorified babysitter at one point. But even before that, they give you more than 3 strikes before they even move to do anything as far as action is concerned. So if there's never any consequences to the things he does besides some talking heads like us calling him immature, is it going to be enough for him to curb his ways?
So let me get this straight. Ezekiel Elliott goes to the University of Ohio. He gets a reputation as kind of being a bit of a loudmouth and a freak. He doesn't necessarily respect authority. He talks back to the coaches a little bit. Nothing serious, but, that's the start. Then you get drafted and you're accused of and charged with beating on women. So you hit women, allegedly. Then you get caught on tape grabbing and groping a woman's breast in public, wide open. There's no denying what you did. It's on tape. It's clear.
Right.
And now you're fighting in Dallas bars. And Colin Kaepernick can't get a job for standing up for humanity? Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I think this is really just athlete entitlement, privilege, and immaturity, as you said. And it may even be a little bit more than immaturity because my kids are immature. This isn't immaturity. This is some level of deviance. Like, this dude has some social issues that need to be addressed. And, you know, I'm not saying that he's guilty. I'm not saying that he's a terrible person, but he needs to address them. Like, you can't behave like this, and the only reason that you're able to get away with it is because of athletic privilege. Like, come on, man.
And here's another situation where this team, who's been grossly overrated for the past decade and a half or so, they finally have a real shot to do something. You're the face of this franchise. Like, if the NFL takes action and you miss games, like, you're letting your teammates down. For what? You know what I'm saying? Like, we just talked about it, you know, and the football is the consummate team sport. You need all those cogs working at once. And when your biggest cog is sitting on the sideline for some nonsense that he did off the field, you know, and those other guys are struggling because you got all the cogs and everything moving, but that one, you know, that one big one that you need is just not working because it's not there. It just messes up the whole machine. So, I don't know. You don't want to be that guy in a situation where this team finally, after all the times people said they were going to do something and they didn't really do anything, when they finally have a shot to actually do something, if they can improve on last year and their young players don't regress, like, this team could be scary. But if you're sitting on the side because, you know, you let Roger Goodell get at you, then you're really letting the team down at this point.
Jerome Bettis said it best. He said, in part, I hold the Dallas Cowboy room accountable. And basically what Jerome Bettis was saying.
Ain't got no old heads in there.
Where your old head? Oh. Exactly. Where's your old head? And I know Jason Witten gets all the credit in the world for being, you know, this great stand-up locker room guy and the personification of, you know, what a professional NFL football player should be. And where your old heads at, man? Who's sitting this dude down, talking to him, showing him the ropes, showing him the loafers, and really trying to get his head on straight? Or maybe someone's doing that, and Gerald Jones,
maybe he's just bigger than the team,
rookies in a position where, well, I don't gotta listen to this old dude. He don't make as much money as
I'm saying. Maybe he's bigger,
and he ain't even gonna be on the team if I don't want him on the team. So come on, get out of here. So that could be the case as well.
All right, so we'll see what happens with this dude. Your man, Mike Tirico, seems to be under the impression that he's an Italian and not a black man. It's an interesting story. I read it, and it was one of those things where, like, you couldn't really believe what you were reading, but Mike Tirico doesn't believe himself to be black. He said he's an Italian kid who grew up in Queens, who people keep insisting that he's black. He said, this is his quote, "Why do I have to check any box? If we live in a world where we're not supposed to judge, why should anyone care about identifying? Besides, the race question in America is one that probably never produces a satisfactory answer for those who are asking the questions." Look, man, if Mike Tirico isn't black, then I don't know. This is an anomaly because, you know, there's plenty of people on this earth where you can look at them and you're like, yo, I really can't tell if he's black, white, Italian, whatever. But this dude has never come across to me as one of them. But he insists. Let me read you some more. He said, my whole family, he said, but, you know, in my whole family, there's nobody I know who is black. raised in Queens, Michael Todd Tirico grew up in a middle-class Italian family in Queens, about a 5-minute drive from Shea Stadium. Tirico's parents, Donald and Maria, were separated when he was about 4. If what he's saying is true and he's just not out here being, you know, what people have been, you know, what if he's not out here Mike Vickin right now, then the fact that his parents separated at 4, I think we all might know why. Because somebody didn't belong to somebody, and that's not somebody's kid. Because this dude is insisting, I had to keep insisting that nobody in his family is black. He grew up in an Italian household. He thinks he's Italian. Now, whether or not he's crazy or he's just one of the rare human beings who looks nothing like the ethnic background that he's claiming, this is one of the weirdest stories ever for me. But if what he's saying, like I said, if he really thinks it's true and he's just not out there tripping, then I think I have an idea why his parents separated when he was 4. Real talk. Real talk. Because some black man put it in somebody.
Tyrone came
Papa
through
found out,
said,
and he like, if this little 3-4-year-old boy keep growing up to not look nothing like me, and he's starting to grow these black features, something got to give here.
Tyrone showed up, smacked
the
dude,
mailman,
and said, "I'm your wife, long style."
Somebody got to tell Mike Tirico though, like, stop embarrassing yourself, stop saying this. Your mom is not who she thinks who you think she is. She's not the innocent, sweet. She's not the innocent, sweet lady you think she is.
I was going to go in the direction of Mike Tirico having self-hate issues, having self-identity issues, but
or just being crazy.
If
I think he believes this.
He grew up around all white Italians, you know, and they showed him the love and whatever he needed to grow.
And they never told him anything else.
They never told him anything different.
He looked different.
I can see in the far-reaching Twilight Zone how this could happen, but as you said, his parents split because of Tyrone.
It had to. Stop. I'm with you. I'm all the way with you. I'm all the way with you, man. He said the only contact I had growing up was with my mom's side of the family, and they're all white as the refrigerator I'm standing in front of right now. He says someday he plans to do a genealogical research to find out if he has a black ancestor. Yes, you do, but it's not something. It's not something he considers a pressing issue. But Mike Tirico doesn't even want to be black. He's in denial about this. Yeah. He said Tirico concedes, though, that his uncertain ethnicity sometimes makes others uncomfortable, even skeptical. He said, I know the story sounds like a lot of bull, but it's the truth. Does it matter to me? Yeah, I'd like to find out the truth at some point. You know the truth, Mike. So I can answer questions for my kids. But me, I'm living, I'm working, I'm leading an upstanding life. I don't worry about it.
Can we reach out to Mike Tirico and make War Room Sports official? Like, we can be there at the genealogical test announcement. Like, we want to cover that.
Mike Tirico is in so much denial right now, dog. Mike, I don't want to be the one to break the news, but Mommy wasn't as sweet as you think Mommy was.
Tyrone said, I'm your wife.
The research you need to do is simply, you ain't got to do all that because genealogical searches cost money. All you got to do is go back and ask Mom for the truth about why Daddy left when he was 4 years old. Just ask her that. And when she breaks down and tell you the truth, then it will all come together for you. And you'll realize Daddy was struck because not only did she cheat on him, but it was with a black dude. You can't compete with that. You just got to roll. You just got to roll. Tyrone, Long Beach style. Like, you can't compete with that. All right, man. So your man O.J. Simpson had his parole hearing today. And after 9 years in the clink, O.J. will be free again by October. You have any thoughts on this? I mean, because I watched the whole thing live, and a lot of people are asking that question, like, "Yo, why is this news? Why is this on TV? Why is this this? Why is this that?"
Why are black people so happy about a black man being released on parole who has stood up and said, "I am not black, OJ"?
Well, I don't have any emotions about it. Happy, sad, anything like that. I'm not going to front. I was one of the D-heads standing around in the punch-out at Howard University in 1995 cheering when he got off for something that we now know, like, he had to do. Like, back then, I don't even think I was engrossed in, in the facts of the case enough to know, because I was smart enough. So if I cared to think and cared to listen and cared to pay attention, I wouldn't have been in there cheering that dude. This man,
you were just excited to see a black man
it was the system
to evade the clutches of American justice.
And that's exactly it, B. But now it's not an emotional thing. Like, I'm not happy or sad that he got out, not mad, anything like that. I'm just fascinated with this dude's life. Anything OJ that comes on, I'm watching it. Even if it's not live, I'm recording it. And most of the stuff that is done about OJ Simpson is some of the best TV that you'll ever watch. Like the little joint where they had Cuba Gooding Jr. playing him, that series.
Yeah.
Great TV. The ESPN 30 for 30 that was like 5 parts. Probably the best documentary I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm so interested in everything OJ that even this boring parole hearing, like, I sat there because I'm like, I don't want to miss anything if anything happens, because his life is just a lightning rod. And it probably is good that he got out, because now we get to sit here and count down and wait for OJ to do something stupid again. And we get to do this all over again. You get to write another chapter in this saga, and then you get more footage added on to the documentary when it's all said and done. So I'm all with it, man. I'm all with it. Free OJ, man. I'm not a prisoner. I'm OJ. So last thing that happened while you guys were on the ground, man. Your man Marshawn Lynch being a stand-up human being again. Marshawn Lynch.
Shout out to all my real Africans.
He bought a local restaurant in Oakland because, frankly, the restaurant was about to close, and it was one of his childhood favorites growing up in Oakland. So he purchased this soul food institution so that it wouldn't close down. And the owner was saying something like, I remember, Marshawn coming here back when he was like 9 years old to get, he would cross the street to come get 25-cent French fries and 75-cent hamburgers. And this was back when she was catering out of her apartment in Oakland. So now that she's had this business that I believe they said she opened, they said she still works at the restaurant she opened 50 years ago. So she was catering out of her apartment. She was running a restaurant. She's 79 years old and was set to retire next month. Because she was retiring, the restaurant was going to close, but Marshawn Lynch stepped in to make sure her legacy lives on and stays open.
I'm gonna hit us with the illest segue and just say that Marshawn Lynch eventually will be an official sponsor partner of Buy the Hood, because he's already buying the hood. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey Jim, is John still open in Germantown?
You know what? I think it is. Yeah, they ain't never.
Because I would do this for John's. Because I grew up on that French toast.
Yo, man.
I grew up on that French toast. So if you ever hear John's closing, man, hit me up. We gotta do something about that. It's
funny because I was talking to someone the other night that actually knows Marshawn. Because I'm still trying to get Marshawn on the show, but he said Marshawn don't move like that. He don't do interviews. But what was interesting about the conversation though,
he would do one with us.
I'm Chatty Patty, so I'll be all in people's business about their money. He was telling me how Marshawn got plenty of bread because Marshawn's always been like very frugal.
Marshawn is frugal. They said Marshawn got $50 million cash.
Yo, he said that he met Marshawn like a couple months ago. He said, yo, Marshawn pulled up in the 08 Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Yo, he's a hood, Marshawn is a hood hero because, like, he keeps it all the way dope boy, but don't do nothing negative.
And, yeah, but that's the best way to be. Like, you can't really, like, what can you say about him? Like, you know,
right.
Salute to Marshawn.
Dude, he came outside in a Dickie suit with, like, a ski mask on, like, very, very, very scary to white people and police looking. But, like, yo, he's Marshawn Lynch. And I was thinking to myself, like, why are you doing an interview like this?
Right. Right. So definitely shout out to Marshawn, man. That's a very honorable thing to do. You know, something in your hood that you love like that, you know, and it's going to close for whatever reason. Yeah, you step in and do what you got to do. I mean, now he has the burden of running it, keeping it afloat, and getting the right people out there. So what he is doing isn't in vain, but shout out to him. Yeah.
Marshawn will have a restaurant.
He gonna sell Skittles out there, John.
All ex-offenders gonna work in that John.
Oh, you know they're gonna have bowls of Skittles on the counter at least, so you can grab some.
The way the world works today. Now I can talk about sustained success, but just by virtue of his cult legend and his like celebrity, that restaurant gonna do well for as long as he's in the league. Like at least 3-4 seasons. Like he.
If it wasn't sentimental, I would suggest he change the name, but he's not going to do that just because he's saving it for sentimental reasons. Like, other than that, I would call that, John, you know why I'm here.
Yo, it's crazy. I've had a couple of things that, like, just in my personal life that I've seen recently where it just confirms that the way we treat celebrities, is different. It was just different than anywhere else. So you're right, B. Austin. Like,
yo, Jimmy found out he's a celebrity.
No.
All you have to be is famous, and people will come. That's all you have to be.
I see, like, and I'll give you one example, right? Like, everyone knows about that thing that happened in Philly in the hood with the
Jimmy example is he beat out Coach K. On Amazon
I definitely beat out Coach K
with his book, bestseller.
Yo, as soon as I did that, cats bought more. Like, here's my thing, though. Just within the last couple months, right? So the chick who did the whole camel situation in Philly that got very popular on social media, on the news station, dog, her restaurant be off the chain now.
People eating at a restaurant because she
because, like, she has like, social media notoriety. Dog, it's crazy. Like, I ride by there, and I'm like, yo, it's like lines outside the door, and I know where it was, so it wasn't like that before. So she, like, mistakenly had the greatest marketing plan of all time, because I don't think that's why she did it, but it ended up being genius.
I mean, and the thing was, she fed the hood that night, but I guarantee you, like, as a business person, she might try to credit it to that, like, yeah, they tasted my food. No, it's because you drew, and people are attracted to drawing, and that's exactly what it was.
I wanted, to me, that was like, never mind, I wanted her to fail. Like, yo, she.
Damn,
Damn. No, but you know what? I'm not even going to front, though, because.
You disagree with what she did? Why you want the sister to fail, though?
When I'm in certain cities, like, I go to restaurants that I saw on the Food Channel or the Cooking Network.
They're going to be there soon. They're going to be there soon. Watch. I guarantee they're going to be there soon because she's popping right now.
It's like it is what it is for some reason. You see something and it got some buzz, it's on TV or something, you just want to do it for some reason. So, yeah, I see them little drives, dives, and diners, whatever that show is called. If I'm in the city, I'm going to try to check it out.
I mean, I do the same thing, except I get my recommendation from F That's Delicious. I'm not gonna say the word, but at the same time, like, I've been in her place before, so the reason I can't stop wanting to film, man, yo, everybody who working at Joan look like us. Let's put it that way. Everybody.
He was like, I wanted to.
I wanted to.
Yo, she had my man out there with a camel, 3 cars, and 4 dates. Come on, man, what's he professional?
3 dates, man.
All right. Let me get some quick birthdays.
Shout out to R. Kelly.
Man. The birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technology. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technology. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices, and yes, financing options are available. So visit digitalextremetech.com. or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them War Room Sports sent you.
Already
All
know.
right, y'all better get over there too, because I think Digital Extreme Tech is having a sale as we speak. Your base price on your website can be $379. You cannot beat that. I'm not telling you that your final price will be $379, but what you're going to get, the foundation that you're going to get for that $379, you can't beat it. So
listen,
you better go out there.
Stop it with the Weebly's. Stop it with the Wixes.
Yo, y'all gotta chill with the Wix sites too, dog.
Stop trying to make your own website.
Because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right? So we know that most people spend their time on social media these days, and they rarely visit like websites unless it's somebody talking about some trash like a blog or whatever. But if I'm doing business with
Radar Online.
If I'm doing business with anyone, the first thing I do is like Google them, and if you don't have a website, I look suspicious at you. You can be the best at whatever you do.
If you have a Wix,
and even if you have one and there's some trash juice, I'm still look suspicious at you.
Let's just say I'm looking for an ophthalmologist.
I think that at
I'm
some
actually looking
women
for
in your family were turning.
Dog, let's just say I'm looking for an ophthalmologist. Those are eyes, right? I don't want to say the wrong name, right? Ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually looking for an ophthalmologist right now, because that's a whole nother story. But if I'm looking for one and somebody recommends me someone, and I do a Google search and they got a Wix site, yo, I might prank call their phone just to like diss them, like, because you can't be. Come on, man, get you a custom Digital Extreme Tech website, man. Anybody got a good ophthalmologist out there? Yo, hit me up, by the way.
Wixes.
All right, so shout out to
doctor, but she got a Wix site, so we had to drop her.
Shout out to another former Ohio State alum, Troy Smith, former quarterback. He turns 33 years old. Shout out to him.
Yo, I wanted him to make it, yo. I wanted him to make it.
Shout out to NBA Judas. Ray Allen. He turns 42.
You heard her say, but you want Troy Smith to make it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Troy Smith.
Black people make it for it.
Troy dissed DeMarcus Russell live. I loved it.
Hey Dev, do you think?
I forgot about that. I forgot you liked him for that. I forgot all about that. What'd you say, Jim?
Do you think Ray Allen's career, because of how he's looked at as a Judas, like his legacy is tarnished?
Of course.
I think his legacy. I don't think Ray Allen's legacy was as strong as people tried to make it at its peak anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even think it's the Judas thing that tarnishes his career. Seriously, if you think about it, Ray Allen has 2 or 3 championships now.
Yeah.
Like most of them were chased. Like he really didn't win any championships in his prime. He didn't win any championships when he was leading a team.
He got his team leadership jack.
The ones with the Heat were even worse than the ones with the Celtics. Even though he hit a big shot. And without that shot, the Heat wouldn't even have beat the Spurs.
According to my brother Willie G, he won the finals for the Heat. It was all about Ray Allen.
Yeah, the way certain people look at it. But I don't think his career legacy is as strong as a lot of people make it out to be in the first place. But he played a long time. He's accumulated, and he's gotten lucky in the last part of his career because he kind of kept following around good players like LeBron and stacking his resume. So I don't think that is what tarnishes it. I just don't think it's as strong as everybody thinks it is.
In the group chat, Casey Mack said he got 2 chips, one with the Celtics and one with the Heat. But here's the thing,
one with the Heat.
It's a great question.
Oh yeah, because they lost. He was on the Heat team for another one, but they didn't win.
They should put him in the Hall the same year that they put Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, just so I could hear them slander each other in their speeches.
Right. And that's the thing. Like I do think that he'll end up in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? But and he has something to even go by. Like as it stands, he's the greatest 3-point shooter that the league has ever seen. And it's probably going to go by the wayside with these light-skinned cats.
Hell no.
He's a what?
Top 10. I'm asking you, top 10 2 guard of all time.
Oh, top 10?
No, Dev, you can name.
I was about to have to think about it, but
I mean, you gonna go.
First of all, let me give him this. As far as skill set, he'd be the number 1 2 guard of all time, bar no one. I'm even Michael Jordan. But skills versus what you have on the inside, which ultimately, allows you to produce what you produce, that's where he was kind of lacking. He didn't have the same kind of dog in him as
position.
Some of the
Once you get past Mike, Kobe, and Bubba Chuck, it's like everybody else. Like,
no, don't do that. Yo, don't do that.
I mean, because you still got you got
Reggie Miller.
You got Iceman. You got Reggie.
Oh, D-Wade. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry, D-Wade.
You got D-Wade. You got. So I don't know. If he's 10, he might be 10.
He also he might be in the 10 just because of how weak the position is.
No,
all right, so I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about D-Wade and Iceman. Reggie Miller. Like, would you at their peak? Would you take Reggie Miller over Ray Allen?
Of course, Reggie Miller.
I think Reggie Miller did more impact-wise for teams than Ray Allen.
Now listen to what I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Nowhere near as talented as
I
Ray Allen.
I may take Reggie Miller, but I don't think there's a wide margin at their ultimate peak. I don't think there's a wide margin.
No, at their
in
ultimate
basketball,
peak,
we do know that one person contributes more to winning. I would just say, Reggie, with way less tools, had way more dog in him, and I think I would rather go to battle with a Reggie Miller.
No, Reggie Miller had a dog.
I'm a big
Ray Allen was so talented. I think Ray Allen's peak.
Reggie had dog teeth too.
I think Ray Allen's peak was early in his career, like when Ray Allen was punching on people.
This
Ray
is
Allen
an amazing question. It's an amazing question because skill set wise, like Des said, I think you tripping because I think Kobe had more skill, but skill set wise, Ray.
I don't either. I think Kobe had more. Kobe worked harder.
Ray's skill set was definitely amazing at his peak. Like he literally could do it all, and do it all very, very well. He would go down in the annals as just a 3-point specialist, but he could do it all.
His career
there's a specific game that I remember where he and Kobe Bryant had been talking smack to each other in the media, and Kobe called him out, and Kobe said, "I'm not going to score tonight." He still ended up with like 20, but I'm going to hold Ray Allen to 1 point for the entire game. And Kobe and Ray Allen went into the bathroom and just basically changed his maxi pad the whole game. He didn't score until Kobe took a breather.
And listen, I understand what you're saying, but I hate when people do that when they give me an example and then they pick like one of the greatest people of all time in their example.
No. But that's a personal battle. Like that's a defining moment.
I get what you're saying.
You can't let that man.
But if you told me Hersey Hawkins told him that and then held him, I'm like, damn. But saying Kobe did that, I mean, it's like, okay, it's Kobe. But my point is this, though. I think that because of the end of his career, a lot of people forget how good
Flip
he
Murray
was.
took his spot. It's like, no.
And when he was at his peak, and I think to me his peak, it wasn't an age thing. It was like when he first got in the league. I think some people peak in college. I think Ray Allen may have peaked in his first 5 years. Because
he definitely peaked.
When he was going to the rack, punching on cats, and then pulling up, like Ray Allen was.
That's the Ray Allen that nobody remembers, Jim.
Nobody remembers.
Ray Allen had
nobody remembers.
But that Ray Allen with the bounce, I would take that Ray Allen over Reggie Miller. But the problem is that Ray Allen only lasted a couple years at most.
Yeah.
But
I've never seen a more skilled shooting guard.
I think the problem
Kobe
is
included.
that he stayed around a little bit too long, and the way he was moving at the end was kind of sus. But
the crazy part about it, Jim, casual fans, those are the years they're going to look at to make his legacy more than what it is because he won championships in those years.
Yeah, legacy.
So,
yeah, pretty much.
Legacy. Well, all right. So
wait. I got one last one for that. Do you count Vince Carter as a 2 guard or a 3?
I say 3, but he could do both. Like actually,
I would say he played more 2 earlier in his career.
He played more 2.
Yeah.
I was actually about to ask y'all the same thing. I was like, but I know how y'all feel about T-Mac. I was about to say, would y'all take Vince or T-Mac over Ray? But I know how y'all feel about T-Mac.
I take Vince over.
You know how I feel about T-Mac, but even at his peak, if I'm taking T-Mac, I try to think about everybody at their peak. At their peak, I still may take T-Mac, and I dislike him completely.
At the peak, T-Mac.
At his peak, man, T-Mac
was a problem at 6'9".
Yeah, but
he still had a little cowardice in him. But my point is this, though. When you look at that
been
position,
coward against coward.
Ray Allen still may be top 10, though. Even name even those guys you named, you only had like 7 or 8.
No, man.
Think back to Ray Allen's peak, though, y'all. Like, he was always arguably the best player on his team. Like, in Milwaukee, a lot of people thought Big Dog was the best player on the team. There was a point in Seattle where when the Bull got the big contract that people thought Rashard was better than him.
Yeah.
I think that fizzled out. Rashard, his reign on the top was short like leprechauns, but there was a point where people thought, he might be better.
Flip Murray was better.
All right, that's when we got moved on.
All right, it's time to move on now.
Shout out to Benji Molina, who turns 43, and shout out to Peter Forsberg, the hockey god who turns 44. So we like to give all of these cats a nice War Room salute on their birthdays and their birthday week. So real quick, we're going to get into some NBA talk, but you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us, and I think we got a call on the line if we can get a producer or somebody to screen that. You can call in and speak with us about some basketball topics. Just dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And that NBA Wrap is brought to you by one of the greatest sports books ever written, and it's called Sports. We've affectionately nicknamed it Sports the Book because a lot of you guys don't understand you don't understand that it actually stands for something. SPORTS. Smart people only read the sports. But if you guys are tired of reading the same old sports book with those tired old sports lists that we were just about to embark on with two guards, them rankings, them imaginary starting lineups, all that BS, GOAT list, well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. Spell it out. See what I did there. This is the Illmatic of sports books, and its mixture of sports and hip-hop culture, because we do it for the culture. We'll keep you mesmerized from beginning to end. Just go to sportsthebook.com and get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. Whatever you do, don't miss the movement. And shout out to our partner, our homie, and the author of this book and his new book, Own Your Time and Space, Jimmy the Blueprint. But we're going to talk some hoops.
And by the way, the caller dropped.
Right now.
The caller was trying to do a prank call, but what he don't realize is that we screened. So we called in because, so we too pro-black.
So we're going to just let him on the air so he can say something stupid.
We too pro-black, so F him. But what he didn't realize when he tried to hang up is that I have his phone number, so I just called him back and calmly told him to F him too.
We got your number, idiot.
I got your number
3364. The 336, Bo?
Yeah, 336-949-7426.
7426? Okay,
Because I'm giving him the business.
Call him, listen.
Now, what did he try to say?
He said, "You black guys, F you." But he didn't say F. He
okay.
said the word.
All right. So if you're black out there and you take offense to that, 336-949-7426.
Yeah, and it's not a podcast.
He got a problem with black guys talking sports. So call the homie. See what's up with him. You don't call into a sports show and don't block your number, you idiot. Like, how dumb are you? Idiot. Call and try to prank it.
Go back to the cave, beloved. Hey, Dev,
I'm hitting him. Y'all know I'm hitting him at 8 o'clock.
It was probably Tropolinsky.
Yo,
probably.
Maybe, but listen to this though, man. I got this, Dev. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets going up for sale though. Like,
amazing.
Y'all trying to put a bid in or what?
Man, let's do that. But look, this is the epitome of cashing out. This organization just made moves to assure that it's in the most valuable state that it's ever been. You count the TV contract, you count that you got superstars in James Harden, Chris Paul. Before the sale goes down, you might have Carmelo Anthony on your team. Like, this is going to be the best financial state the Rockets have ever been in. So talk about sell high, cash out. Like, their owner's about to get paid. He's about to get paid. They're thinking $1.6 billion might be where the bids start.
How much?
$1.6 billion might be where it starts.
I just want to let y'all know.
Grinding.
No doubt. And it said a perfect storm, and that's what I was kind of alluding to. Like the perfect storm of things is happening right now. So if they keep happening, I'm reading a headline here that says a perfect storm could lead to the Houston Rockets becoming the most expensive North American sports franchise ever. So if they keep, adding these stars and, because they could possibly eventually beat that $2 billion price tag that the Dodgers and the Clippers sold for. And those teams are in L.A., so you understand why they went higher than what people thought market value was.
Straight cash, homie.
No doubt.
What do you think Jerry Jones is sitting back looking? Because they writing his tape too. He's sitting back he's sitting back like, if you can get this for that squad.
I know. Jerry Jones gonna mess around and get like $5 billion because they already valued his squad at 4.2. Leslie Alexander, who's the current owner, he purchased the team for $85 million back in 93-94, right before that season. $85 million, and he
crazy.
can possibly cash out for $2 billion.
Yo, that's a mean ROI. B. Austin just paid $85. Let me shut up. Never mind. But the thing is, that ROI is ridiculous, man.
Yo, $85 million. What kind of stock you got? 336-949-7426? What kind of stock you holding on to? None? Okay, that's what we thought. Yeah,
you can buy some War Room stock.
Yo, what's the owner's name, Dad?
Leslie Alexander. He got a chick name, but he's filthy.
Yo, he got a chick name.
He's filthy. Let me write this number down before it go off the board.
Oh, I got this in my phone.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's in my phone. Yo, all I'm saying is, man, that's a mean.
We'll put his Joan on our social media page. Tell everybody to call.
Yeah, you gonna get bodied tonight,
You are done.
You played yourself, guys.
We'll
put that Joan on Howard University page and say he called us N-words.
Oh, you know.
That's dirty. That's dirty. But
anyway,
troll attempts failed.
Yo, speaking of hustling, real quick though, Lonzo Ball was sneaker switching in the summer league. Was he auditioning for a deal, a partnership, or what?
Man, I don't think that it was initially that, but I think that they're opportunists and they will probably turn it into that. Because the Big Baller brand, I think is going to lose some steam from the engine and win from the sales.
I agree only because. That's what we talked about last week. I think the first switch to the Kobe's might have been truly a situation where, like, dude either ran out of shoes, you know what I'm saying, he didn't get another one manufactured for himself in enough time, and then it became, a spectacle, it became a show. So because I did that, LeVar probably had to come to him, like, I have to find a way to iron this over so it doesn't look like you're embarrassing me the way that you're embarrassing me right now, son. So let's do this every day. And at this point, I think it could be a thing where it did turn into an audition because I'm thinking they realize now, he's putting up numbers. And this, granted, it's the summer league, but he's still putting up numbers. And he's probably done more than people would have thought he would have done right off the bat. So why not audition? Get you a contract with one of these people, and then maybe you can pay for all this manufacturing that you're supposed to be getting to people by November.
Here's the crazy part. The crazy part is, I'm pretty sure someone had probably offered him a partnership, but they didn't want to come up with the upfront capital he was asking for, the $1 billion or whatever. But you gotta kind of prove yourself. So I would have took a partnership. I would have took a partnership where you give me a majority of equity in my brand, because even Mike don't have that. But, you still help me with all the back end stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to use the music analogy, hit him with the Rockefeller joint. Give me a partnership, but let me keep a lot of my equity. You know what I'm saying? Stop asking for these ridiculous numbers. He may get that now because of what Dev just said. So I think it kind of was an audition. But also, I'm just of the opinion now that they just want to, like, stay top of the news. Like, anytime something else happens and people stop talking about them a little bit, they do something. So now that OJ's out, they're going to try to draw now. Who knows what's about to happen now?
Yeah, because OJ taking their shine. What y'all doing watching OJ?
And real quick, though, man, I just looked up Leslie Alexander. he made his bread. He was a lawyer, but he started his own investment company, investing in different stuff. But he made his bread. He owned 18.5% stake in First Marblehead, which was a private student loan company, and got rich off that. So my man got rich off all y'all not paying y'all student loans and whatnot.
He about to be a super billionaire.
He divorced his wife. He divorced his wife and gave her $150 million. And now he about to. He probably like now look what you about to do because I'm about to cash out something nice.
It just sounds like this dude knows when to cash out. Cash out of his marriage when he probably knew he was going to be filthy. Hey, let me cash out while I only got to give her $150.
Yo, he probably divorced her a decade ago with the plans on cashing out now. My man got a time machine or something.
This dude.
Anyway,
he had a lot of business deals on deck. Like, well, let me do this first before we sign the dotted line on this business deal because I don't want this money to be. Let me giving him his props for divorcing this chick.
Even though you made your money on the back of student loans, man. But speaking of business, man, let's talk about LeBron because I look at LeBron over businessman to basketball because basketball is second to him too. But his agent reportedly calls the Lakers to tell them they like what they're doing, and there's some possibility connection. Do you think LeBron is putting
man, I told y'all, man.
One day it's the Lakers, like, and he went to watch those two teams play. You think he's choosing between our squad, Joe?
It might be, man. There's a giant collective drink that is being guzzled in the NBA, and the glass might be empty now, and that drink is called pride. I think, the pride level in the NBA is, if not on zero, is on like 3%. I mean, you got that. You got Derrick Rose, who used to talk trash about the Cavs and LeBron when the Bulls were supposed to be their rival in the East. Now he's about to sign with them. Of course you got to sign 1 year because you don't want to be there when LeBron leaves, even though LeBron was like your nemesis at one point. You got LeBron like, look, man, it's going bad here again, just like it went bad in Miami. I got to look to the next young team. He's looking for young teams now.
Yeah, he is.
That's his new thing.
Because he's gonna steal all their energy. Because everybody gonna give him the credit.
Yeah, exactly. He looking for young teams now. So he's looking at, all right, who's best suited, for me to go join and, they be good enough for me to take them over the top.
Squads like R. Kelly treat these women, man. Like, I give me a younger John. I give me a young John. Go tie them up for a little while. No pun intended.
So,
but
it's crazy. I think at this point it's a rumor, but actually I think it's not. I think Rob Pelinka confirmed it.
Why would he show up at that one summer league game, like at that specific game? Like, come on, son.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, once Kobe left, that's it. Kobe and KG are gone. That's it. It's like this new wave is never going back to what it was. By the time it goes back to what it was, because everything goes in cycles, we're gonna be long gone. But as of right now, that's it. It's a wrap. The NBA,
LeBron's joined a third team and win more championships, man. I can't respect that, man. I can't, man. I can't.
Man, you can't
I will never say that he's
respect.
not the best player in the league, but we're just dealing in different times right now.
But guess what's
we're being
happen?
the best.
What's going to happen is now they're going to say how many people could have won in 3 different franchises and the 3 different things. They're going to spin that to be an amazing thing.
Of course, they're going to say LeBron James took 3 different franchises to titles.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand how it's going to go down. They're going to make it a record.
Because even though we hate it, they have played everything the right way in terms of how they manage his career. Because, we see through it, but most people don't. So salute to them. Anyway, it's time to get out of here. Thank you, good people, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, WRS Game Time, and all the calls who called in, even 336, because we got you now, doggy. We got you, doggy.
949-7426.
That's right. We got you, doggy. Tune in next week
live right here on
the Man in the WRS Podcast Network for more great sports talk. We'll recap another week in sports. And it's close to the football, believe it or not. So until then, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you right back here. Catch all of our conversations and everything that we do, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything can be found at WarRoomSports.com. That is the hub. Pick up my book, Sports the Book. You can do that at SportsTheBook.com or right at the hub at WarRoomSports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. See you chumps on top.
Austin.Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dez, DJ, Got Back, the Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
It's the perfect time and they're the perfect age for Sesame Place. Plan your visit before little kids become big kids, before dress up turns to makeup, and tag becomes hashtag. Come whirl on rides, splash down slides, and hug everyone's favorite Sesame Street friends. Get unlimited visits with a season pass for 6 payments of less than $19 a month. Limited time offer, taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. So bring the whole family to Sesame Place, the only place that makes little hearts race. Sesame Place. Go before they grow.
Now at Acme, find even more great deals and amazing savings throughout the store. Just look for the extra savings tags when you shop. Discover new savings every week in every department. Fire up the grill for a delicious meal and save 40% off Lancaster brand or Purdue boneless chicken breasts. Plus, get a sweet deal on Entenmann's. The entire full line is 50% off. Fresher choices, easier meals, sweeter deals. Acme, your favorite local supermarket.